Today's bell ringer says the employees at Olivia's Construction monitored the number of cracked window panes in each shipment they received. How many shipments had at least 40 cracked window panes but less than 70 cracked window panes? So we have to refer back to when we were talking the other day about reading a stem and leaf plot. So we want at least 40. Okay, so our first number in the 40s is 43. So that's going to be all of these, which is 43 and 49. But remember, we want to keep it less than 70. So any number in the 50s would count. Any numbers in the 60s would count. But starting at 74, that is not less than 70. So we need to count how many we have. So we have 43, 49, 52, 57, 55, 57, 65, and 66. So we have 7 shipments that have at least 40 cracked window panes but less than 70. So our answer is 7. Today we're going to work on experimental probability. So we've talked about theoretical probability, meaning what should happen. Now we're going to look at experimental probability. On the last day of a Shakespeare class, an English teacher asked her students which play they liked most. Out of the 18 students who have submitted responses so far, 8 liked Hamlet best. What is the experimental probability that the next student to respond likes Hamlet best? So far, 18 students have answered. So 18 is the possible outcomes. And 8 have chosen Hamlet, which is what we're looking for in our probability. So 8 over 18. However, that needs to be simplified. So 2 will go into 8 4 times, and 2 will go into 18 9 times. So our probability is there's a 4 in 9 chance that the next one would choose Hamlet. Example 2. From a sample tray, 2 of the last 6 cake samples chosen were vanilla. What is the experimental probability that the next piece of cake taken will be vanilla? So we're looking for the probability of vanilla. So 2 of the last 6, that sets up our probability, so 2 over 6. And we'll simplify by dividing by 2. So 2 goes into itself 1 time and into 6 3 times. So there's a 1 in 3 chance that the next piece of cake will be vanilla. Example 3, a white and teal spinner landed on white 6 out of 10 spins. What is the experimental probability that the next spin will land on white? So 6 out of 10. So we need to simplify that by dividing by 2, which is 3/5. Okay, example 4 says Lorenzo's mother recorded how many donuts he has eaten over the past few months. What is the experimental probability that the next donut Lorenzo eats will be a glazed donut? So we're looking for the probability of a glazed donut. Okay, so the glazed here is 9. So 9 for the numerator. But then that is out of how many? So what you're going to have to do is add these up. So 3 and 2 is 5. 5 and 2 is 7. 9 and 7 is 16. Plus 2 is 18. So 9 over 18 would simplify to a half. So there's a 1/2 chance that the next one chosen would be a glazed donut. A pink and green spinner landed on pink 8 times and on green 4 times. What is the experimental probability that the next spin will land on pink? So we can see that it landed on pink 8 times out of how many? So this time you've got to take that extra step. If it landed on pink 8 times and green 4 times, how many total times had it been spun? We would have to add 8 and 4, which is 12. And then we'll simplify. So 4 would go into 8 2 times, and 4 would go into 12 3 times. So there's a 2 in 3 chance that the next spin will land on pink? A grocery store recently sold 14 cartons of lemon yogurt and 74 other cartons of yogurt. What is the experimental probability that the next carton of yogurt sold will be lemon? So we can see that they sold 14 cartons of lemon, and they sold 74 other cartons. So to know what the total number of cartons is, we're going to have to add those together. So 74 and 14 makes 88. And then we'll simplify. So 2 will go into 14 7 times, and 2 would go into 88 44 times. So there's a 7/44 chance that the next carton would be lemon. Terrell surveyed some students at his school about their favorite professional sports. Of the students surveyed, 255 said tennis was their favorite sport, while 291 of the students had other favorite sports. What is the experimental probability that the next student Terrell talks to will pick tennis? Okay, so the probability of tennis. So it says 255 said tennis was their favorite. So 255 out of how many? So 255 said tennis, and 291 said that it was some other sport. So to find your total, you're going to have to add 255 and 291, which is 546. So now we need to simplify 255 over 546. So think for just a minute, what number would go into both of those? Remember, if you need to, you can start with a smaller number. So we could divide both numbers by 3. 255 divided by 3 would be 85. And 546 divided by 3 would be 182. Okay, you need to check and see if you can simplify again. And that is in simplest form. Exit slip is another stem and leaf plot, making sure that you know how to read these. It says the advertising agency counted the number of billboards in each city in the state. How many cities have at least 4 but fewer than 40? So we're looking for greater than 4. So our first stem of 0 means that the leaf is 5, 8, and 9. So all of those are at least 4. So we're going to count all of those. And we want less than 40. So we can't count 42 that's here at the bottom of our stem and leaf plot, but we can count any number in the 30s and then everything in between. So how many cities had at least 4 billboards but fewer than 40? We're going to count those up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So at least 11 cities had more than 4 billboards but fewer than 40. Okay, that completes your video for today. So now you're going to complete your assessment on IXL DD4.